Morning, third grade students. We're going to be talking about Chapter 1 review. And when I want you to remember Chapter 1, I want you to go back and remember our first lesson. In case you don't remember what our first lesson was, I'm going to let you know it was all about rounding numbers. Do you guys remember how to round numbers? Okay, even if you do, we're going to be able to go through and learn how to round again. Remember, rounding is used to get to a closer number based on what number that we have. Also, rounding is good for estimating when we're starting to talk about adding and subtracting as well. Okay, so we can use number lines to help us round. So if Mia's baseball bat is 33 inches, we want to find the length rounded to the nearest 10. Okay, so if we have a number line, you're thinking to yourself, where would I put 33 on this number line? So 33 is just a little past 30. So if I'm talking about the nearest 10, I've got to see if 33 is closer to 30 or closer to 40. Looking at those jumps, where would it go? Would I round back to 30 or would I round forward to 40? The answer is 30. But what if I want to round to the nearest 100? I can also use a number line to round to the nearest 100. Obviously, if you're talking about 33, it's just only tens. We're rounding to the nearest 10. 3 is closer to the 10 before than the 10 after. But just like that, we're talking about 276. Okay? So here's my number line, and I've got to figure out where I'd put 276. Okay? 276 would be past the middle line, and it'd be just about here. Now, 276, if you think about it, we just passed 200. The next 100 would be 300. So would I round backwards or would I round up? The answer is rounding up because 276 is closer to 300 than it is 200. Because if you think about it and you count to 100, 76 would be closer to 300 than it would be closer to the 100 that is coming up than the 100 that you just passed. I hope some of this is a review. I hope that I'm not going too fast because rounding is just an easier way to add and subtract numbers. Maybe I don't want to add or subtract 72. I want to estimate. So I'm just going to get 72 to the nearest 10, right? I can also use place value to do that. If I'm talking about the tens place, you guys should know that the tens are on would be the next one over, right? So the 7 is in the tens place. The 2 is in the ones place. So we're looking at 7. So we're thinking, well, 72 means that the 10 I just passed is 70, and the 10 I'm about to pass is 80. So my options are 70 or 80. Now I'm going to use that 2 to help me figure out if I'm going to 70 or going to 80. The rule is if it's below 5, we're going to round back to the 10 that we just passed. If it's 5 or more, we're going to round to the next 10 that we've just passed. So 2 is smaller than 5 or less than 5. So meaning 72 is going to round to 70. All right, does that make a little bit of sense? But if you think about it, the 2 is going to turn into a 0 because 2 is closer to 0. It's closer to the last 70 that we just passed. So 72 rounded to the nearest 10 is 70. We can do that same thing for rounding to the hundreds as well. Can you guys tell me what digit is in the hundreds place? Hopefully, while I'm asking you that question, you guys know that the 3 is the number that's in the hundreds place. Remember, ones, tens, hundreds. So I'm going to isolate the 3. The 3 means that the 100 I just passed was 300, and the 100 I'm about to get to is 400. Now, because I'm in the hundreds place and I'm rounding to the hundreds, I'm going to focus on the tens place, right? So 379 means that I'm in the 7th 10, right? So if it's bigger than 5, do you remember what I said? It means that it's going to round to the number that's higher, okay? If you think about 379, you're only 21 away from 400. So it would make sense to round 379 to 400, right? Not back down to 300. So the 3 would become a 4, and the 79 would just become 400. So 379 rounded to the nearest 100 is 400. So let's do some practice. Locate and label 53 and then round it to the nearest 10. 53 would be about, oops. I wish I could move it. Oh, there we go. 53 is here. So would I round it to the 50 or would I round it to 60? 50. Great job. All right. So now I want you guys, you're going to be, the other part of chapter 1 was adding and subtracting. Okay. At this point, I don't think I need to go over adding and subtracting for you, but I really do want you to focus on that rounding and the estimating so that way you guys can get an appropriate answer when you add and subtract in your personal math trainer. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. So enjoy your rounding practice. Make sure that you're doing your best on your adding and subtracting, and I will talk to you guys later. Goodbye.